Good Tuesday evening and welcome to FSU Weather. I'm Casey Cloud.
I'm student meteorologist Matthew Reagan. The warm temperatures are back for today. I mean, the warmer, at least that what we saw over the weekend.
Yeah, getting into the upper 70s today across our area. Big Bend region talking about Tallahassee, areas toward Perry as well as toward some of our Georgia counties as well, and toward areas like Valdosta.
Absolutely. We saw also the return of the clouds because of that onshore breeze from the Gulf, which we'll be getting to a little bit more later in the show.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on that weather pattern as later into this week and into the weekend we're expecting another cool down, and we'll be discussing that, of course, throughout this show, as well as a chance for rain could interrupt a few homecoming activities that we'll get into a little bit later.
Absolutely. It is homecoming week here at Florida State, and we've got all of the latest weather-wise to keep you informed of the weather conditions for homecoming.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the different events that are occurring Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Pretty busy days here on campus. We're talking about on Thursday and Friday, we're talking about the homecoming parade. Saturday, of course, the game, FSU's home game against Virginia.
Absolutely. We'll be getting into more of that in a little while, but it was a beautiful day here on campus. Did you get outside, have a nice time with those comfortable conditions?
Yeah, it was really nice. Just walking around campus, going to class. Conditions a lot nicer than they have been with those temperatures as low as 30 degrees yesterday morning at the airport. But right now we'll go ahead and take a look at the overview of the show with Melanie.
See, yeah, today we really saw those beautiful conditions, but that is going to be quickly changing. And here is a big fact right here. We have this cold front right here that's going to be dipping down into our area Thursday, in between Thursday into Thursday morning, and that is going to be causing us for the chance of rain. But thankfully we don't have to worry about that right now. Currently we're sitting at 74 in Tallahassee. It's mostly cloudy, so some of those clouds are starting to arise, and that's going to be quickly changing as we move into this week. But looking at tonight, we're going to be sitting relatively cool. We're going to be sitting at 51. It's going to be cool and mild, not as cold as we were seeing this previous week. And once that cold front passes through, we will be seeing those cooler drops. We're going to be back in those 40-degree temperatures, so it's going to be very seasonable. And now for our weather headlines, we're going to be seeing warmer temperatures Wednesday and Thursday, and the rain is going to return thanks to that cold front, and the cold will also return after that cold front passes. But now we're going to take it to some more stories at the desk.
All right, thank you, Melanie. It is Election Day here across the state of Florida, and one thing that's not impeding you on Election Day is the weather conditions outside.
Yeah, really nice conditions as we've been mentioning. Temperatures getting in the upper 70s, sunny, no precipitation affecting your travel as such as in other parts of the country, like in toward areas like Dallas, they're getting some rain. But here in the state of Florida, it's really been just a nice day to go out and vote.
Absolutely. We caught this image just outside of the studio, actually from the roof of the studio. Looking outside, there it is right now. We had some of those cumulus clouds back into our air. We haven't seen those in a little while.
Yeah, really interesting photogenic type picture here across our area, across the capital city and the Big Bend region. Just next a little bit, go out there and vote if you haven't already, as those temperatures are a little bit really nice conditions to do so over the next little bit here if you're watching on the 6 o'clock show.
Absolutely. But for now, we're going to send it out to John to take a look at what's going on in our area.
Thank you, guys. It was a warm month in October, but not overly warm. It was actually a little bit cooler for the whole month. That temperature there you see, 69.1 degrees, is if you average the highs and lows for each day during the month of October. Rainfall, we had most of that rainfall on one day in October, and we'll get to that in just a second. That rainfall, just under 5 inches there, was about an inch and a quarter, or an inch and 3/4 below normal for the month. That rainfall was all over October 14th. That's when we had that severe weather roll through here on campus with that tree down on Woodward Avenue. But for now, no severe weather here, just southerly winds coming in off the Gulf, winds at 7 miles an hour here in St. Mark's, 5 miles an hour here in Tallahassee, and that's bringing in a lot more moisture and a little bit more heat as well. That's why we saw that temperature incline through the afternoon hours. We made it up into the middle to upper 70s around the area. 74 right now here in Tallahassee downtown. South-southwest winds at 5 miles an hour, bringing in a little bit more humidity, and these are going to boost up a couple more degrees over the next couple of days, and we'll be closer to 80 degrees with some more humidity to work with as well for those clouds outside. 74 here in Tallahassee, as I mentioned, 73 in Carabel, a couple of cool spots outside. Thomasville's sitting at 68 degrees. These temperatures aren't going to fall towards freezing tonight. They will in a couple of days, though. We'll get to that in just a second. Clear conditions across most of the southeast. A couple of clouds pushing through over towards Atlanta, and then a lot more cloud activity moving in through Shreveport. And they've had quite a bit of rain over in Texas over the last day or so, and even more rain up into the Midwest and into the Ohio River Valley. And this is why there is a lot of moisture to work with, and this is actually being fed in from a tropical system in the eastern Pacific. So much of Texas is going to have 1 to 2 inches of rain if they haven't already, but they will get that. And that's going to be sliding our way over the next couple of days. 51 degrees here tonight with cool and mild conditions, with calm conditions as well. It's not going to allow our temperatures to fall because of those clouds moving through, but it will be a mild and beautiful night. 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon, warming up to, again, 80 degrees, a couple spots topping out in the low to mid 80s. South-southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, bringing in that warm, mild air. Again, those clouds are going to be filtering through the area. This cool front is going to take its sweet time moving into our area. It's going to be a while. It's going to be towards Thursday afternoon, it's looking like right now. But these clouds are here to stay. Warm conditions are here to stay as well, with southerly winds feeding into that cool front. Passing showers possible as we head into Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, but clouds are going to be building on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Maybe a couple showers on Thursday morning, and then Thursday afternoon that front gets just close enough where we'll start to have to worry about rain chances. And then for the rest of the next 7 days, we're looking like this. We're talking 80 degrees on Wednesday, 84 degrees as we head into Thursday with those clouds. Maybe a rain chance as well. Now what's left for us in the rest of the forecast?
Well, now for the rest of the forecast, it's basically the same story. We're going to be seeing those temperatures increase into Thursday, but then once that cold front passes, our temperatures are going to be dropping. Currently, though, we're sitting at 69 in Tallahassee, it's 73 in New Orleans, 61 up in Little Rock. You can see the cold front is already starting to affect them up north a little bit. Their temperatures are dropping slightly, and it's going to be continuing to drop. But now, for our 24-hour temperature change, we have actually gone up 5 degrees in Tallahassee, and that we're going to continue for our temperature to rise in the next few days. Thursday, we're actually going to be seeing a high of 84, so we are back into those 80s. Little Rock, they went down 4 degrees, and same with Shreveport. They also went down 6 degrees thanks to that cold front. And here's that cold front again, just draped across the northwest part of our region. And there's actually getting some severe rain in Texas. There's getting some severe rain from Houston, San Antonio to Dallas. So if you have any family in Texas, make sure to give them a call, see how they're doing, because they are getting some severe weather. And now taking a look at our water vapor, we have all this green is just all the moisture. So we are seeing very moist air in our Tallahassee region, as well as most of the southeast region. And that moist air is just going to be continuing to prevail for the next few days. And we have that cold front. We're going to be seeing a mild night tonight. There's going to be some patchy clouds, and the chances for rain are going to be going up into Thursday. But Wednesday we're going to be seeing warmer temperatures. It's going to be partly sunny skies, so I wouldn't cancel any nighttime plans. But by 6 p.m. on Wednesday night, the clouds are going to be rolling in full force. But the cold front is going to take its sweet time getting here. It's not actually going to get here until Thursday night, and then that's when we have our chance for rain. But tomorrow is going to be a pretty nice day to go boating. We're seeing some moderate winds, some 3 to 4 foot waves. The waters are going to be a light to moderate chop in the morning, but then once we reach the afternoon, it is going to be calming down. So if you want to go out to the boat, it is going to be a nice day. And now for planning your day, when you wake up in the morning, it's going to be a little bit on the chillier side, 55 degrees, so maybe a light jacket is going to be needed. And then we were slowly warming up throughout the day. It's going to be warm day, mild evening, the clouds are going to prevail, but then looking at tonight, we're going to be sitting at 51 in Tallahassee, 51 in Montgomery, 55 in Tupelo, so very seasonable for this time of the year. And tomorrow we're going to be reaching 80 in Tallahassee, it's going to be 84 in Miami, 77 in Montgomery, and they're going to be starting to see those showers impacting them. But now let's take it back to the desk.
Thanks so much, Melanie. Now let's go ahead and talk about FSU's homecoming week, which began on Sunday but continues for the week through Saturday's game against Virginia.
Absolutely. The weather is going to be great every day, except for maybe Thursday. We might see a few showers or storms impact the area.
Yeah, we could have some isolated showers in, but as we get into Friday for the FSU homecoming parade at 2 p.m., we should have pretty nice conditions. Temperatures will be pretty seasonable for this time of year. Just really good conditions to go out and enjoy it.
Absolutely. And then when you're heading out to powwow that night, it might be a little bit cool outside, so you're going to want to bring a jacket, maybe some layers, because it'll be warm in the tuck, but it will be cool outside.
Yeah, going back and forth between the between the Tucker Center, of course, could be a little bit cool. And then, of course, the game on Saturday, we'll keep an eye on those conditions. This forecast still needs to be fine-tuned just a little bit, but it could be a little bit on the cool side. But right now, we'll go ahead and take a national look at the weather situation with Jonathan.
Yeah, you guys talk about those ups and downs in the temperature. That's what kind of the pattern we're going to be getting into over the next couple of days. And you can actually see the next front on its way just passing San Antonio and Memphis right now and up into the northeast. Some cooler air starting to work into the arrowhead of Minnesota there. Minneapolis sitting at 44 degrees. Mild temperatures back off towards the west, 80 degrees, 71 in San Francisco. Here's that front, pretty defined here across Texas. Moved through Oklahoma last night and is moving through Detroit as well with some rain and actually some snow showers associated with it just north of the border, north of International Falls. The next storm system is coming in from the northwest, impacting places like Seattle and Portland across the Pacific Northwest. But this system is the story right now. Temperatures dropping about 15 to 20 degrees behind this front. Some places across western Texas in south of Abilene dropping 25 degrees past this front. And there's a lot of moisture to work with here. You see this feed coming in from Mexico that's pushing up across Texas. Lots of moisture to work with. 1 to 2 inches falling last night and into early yesterday morning in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City picking up just over an inch of rain. Midland, Texas, 0.8 of an inch. That rain hasn't quite reached down into the coastal parts of Texas quite yet, but it is heading in that direction. Rain moving into the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. Cloud cover still shrouding over Oklahoma and much of Kansas and Nebraska, and moving in even to southern Nebraska right now. And look at this. There's a couple of flakes mixing in across New Mexico. That's kind of working into the dry air now, so they're going to kind of see that fade away. This is the reason for all of this mess. This is Tropical Storm Vance. We've been talking about this in the tropical section over the last couple of days. This was a hurricane, now starting to feed in a little bit of this drier air we talked about across New Mexico and Arizona. Really, that dry air really eating away at this system, as well as some wind shear in the upper levels. And we'll talk about that more in the tropical segment. But they're worried right now about some very high rainfall totals, and that's the reason for these flood watches and warnings across South Texas. And some cooler air behind that storm system is bringing in freeze warnings and watches across much of the southern plains and over towards the eastern parts of the Rocky Mountains right now. You can see the temperatures for tonight looking at 36 degrees in Albuquerque, 38 degrees in Denver. But for the southeast, bringing it back home, temperatures only falling into the low to mid 50s, 63 even in New Orleans right now. And tomorrow's forecast, we're looking into the 80s across the southeast. And actually a little bit of warmer air working back into the forecast across the Central Plains in the 70s. And then that cooler air starting to work in across the northern plains, 50s and 60s across much of the northern tier across the United States. But look at this. That next storm system is moving in across the Pacific Northwest with some clouds and a little bit more rain. That's the things that are going to be on its way, Matt.
Yep, absolutely. We've got a little bit to talk about here, but let's take a live look. Well, once was a live look, but a pretty recent look of Doak Campbell Stadium. Here's the stadium here, and the sun is shining brightly. And as you can see, those clouds are back. So with that onshore flow coming off of the Gulf, we're seeing the clouds start to infiltrate back into our area, but that will not be for long. As you're walking outside right now, it's feeling really comfortable outside. 69 degrees here in Tallahassee, 75 in St. Mark's. Down in Carabel, you're 71. In Apalachicola, you're at 68. You've got a bit of a breeze, so that's keeping the temperatures down just a little bit. So across the board, we're seeing the 60s and the mid 70s, so it's feeling rather comfortable outside. Satellite and radar across the southeast. You can see this cold front we've been talking about a little bit here. As John mentioned earlier, a lot of that rain is being associated with what was Vance impacting Mexico. A lot of that tropical moisture is starting to infiltrate and become part of this frontal system. So we have a low pressure right over here, and that's going to be pushing into our area and could impact us with a few rain showers later on. Water vapor imagery looks like this. You can see that really moist air here indicated with the green starting to override this drier air that we saw over the past few days here in the orange. So this green moist air is going to be overriding that and increasing our moisture chances over the next few days. Right now we're sitting very mild, and as we push on into our overnight hours and into the day tomorrow, we're going to see a warm-up trend, a trend associated ahead of this cold front that will be slowly pushing into our area. So overnight, tomorrow night, we're going to see those clouds push in as well with that approach of the cold front. And then moving on into Thursday morning, we're going to see the warmth around once again, and that cold front will be pushing in. So those temperatures will probably be rather on the cool side, but also a little bit warmer than what we've seen over the past few days. A chance of rain we're looking at over that time as well. And then as for the beach forecast, the water's warm, but the UV index is rather high. So definitely bring that sunscreen if you're heading out to the beach anytime soon, because you will definitely need it, and you don't want to get burnt because that's not fun at all. But if you are heading out on the water on the boat, don't let this image fool you. It's not going to be too bad out there with waves 3 to 4 feet and a little bit of a light chop on the waters. And that sunset, one of those things to point out there, that sunset was at 5:47, which is a lot earlier than what we've been seeing over the past few days. But we're looking into tonight, going to be a cool 51 degrees, not as cool as we saw over the last few days as well. And then into tomorrow, we're looking at 80 degrees, and it's going to be a beautiful day out once again. We're not going to see too much of those clouds with that front until Thursday, so we will be expecting another day of nice conditions tomorrow on our Wednesday, on our hump day, in the middle of the week. So get ready for those. That homecoming days are going to be great up until Thursday, but for now we're going to send it back to the desk with John and Melanie to tell us more.
Thanks, Matt, and lots of interesting things happening. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit of a soggy week across much of the southern plains.
Yeah, that cold front is really giving the Texas some really desperate rain, which they need because they're actually in a severe drought right now.
Yeah, a lot of parts of northern Texas especially could really use that rain. They've got a couple of inches happening now and even into the evening hours.
Yeah, and they're expected to receive 2 to 4 inches, but that rain, it may be good, but it could lead to some flooding possibilities.
Yeah, again, they haven't had that, so the ground is a little tough right now. It's not really soaking in all that well.
Yeah, so if you're traveling along interstates 35, 10, or 45, just be careful of the traveling conditions and just be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, you've got another hour to vote there. It's going to be a little bit wet across much of Texas.
Yeah, but now we're going to take it to around Florida with Matthew.
That's right, guys. I'm back again, and I'm going to be giving you a little bit what's going on around the rest of the state of Florida. We focused on what was going on around here earlier, but now I'm going to give you a tour of what's going on all across Florida to show you what the weather is like out there. Satellite and radar, we saw that a little bit earlier. It's not really showing anything right now, just a few clouds out there. And then once again, we see that front starting to peek its way into the picture. Won't be impacting us over the next couple days, but on Thursday is when we'll start to see those impacts from the front. But the rest of the peninsula is looking rather great. A few words of weather, if you want to call it that, across the peninsula as we're watching the eastern coast of the lower peninsula here. We're talking around the Space Coast and down into the Treasure Coast. We're seeing some very choppy waters, and we have some rip current advisories. So if you are swimming, be sure you swim near a lifeguard because we're seeing a lot of rip currents all the way down the coast. And from Deerfield Beach down to Ocean Reef in South Florida, you're also looking at rip current advisories as well. So please heed the warnings posted by the lifeguards if you're going to take a dip in the waters. But the water vapor, we're seeing that dry air start to push on out with the approach of that cold front and that moist air. So the precipitation possibilities will start to increase in the area. But as for those current temperatures across the peninsula, it's going to be nice as right now in Miami, you're the warm spot at 76 degrees. Up here, we're sitting at 69. So there's really nothing to complain about across the peninsula temperature-wise if this is your cup of tea, because it's really quite comfortable outside. A little bit dry, but that dry condition will start to push out of the area over the next couple days. Let's move into our futurecast. We're sitting mild right now, and the state, a little bit of clouds in the area, and then we see that cold front start to approach. We're going to see a warming trend, as I stated earlier. So be aware that those long sleeves won't be needed as much during the day. We could start to see some of those 80s. But speaking of weather wear, we're going to be talking shorts and tanks on Wednesday. So lots of warmer conditions. We may see some peaks at the 80s on the day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're also going to be seeing a little bit of warm conditions as well. Maybe in the overnight hours, you might want to have a jacket handy if the cool weather affects you. And then Friday, we're going to see that cooling trend occurring some more. So we're not going to be talking about that cool conditions that we saw over the weekend. But for tonight across the peninsula, one thing I would like to mention is that here in Tampa, we're not looking at a whole lot of rain possibilities, just a small possibility. And that's pretty much the story for the whole peninsula. Just a small chance of rain up until Thursday when we start to see the effects of that cold front push in. So we're looking at 51 degrees tonight in Tallahassee, compared to that contrast down in South Florida of 72 degrees. And then as for tomorrow, we're looking really just rebounding back into those upper 80s, maybe some hints at 90s in some warmer areas. But down here in Fort Myers, we're looking at 86, and across the peninsula, we're looking in those 80s. But for now, I'm going to send it over to Casey, and you're going to be telling us a little bit more of what's going on in the tropics.
That's right. Thanks so much, Matthew. And as we do so, we'll be able to see that tropical weather situation very clearly, in fact. And we see in terms of the Atlantic basin that there is an area of disturbed weather as we get just to the northeast of Cuba, Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic as well. We're watching this closely, but there's really only a 10% chance of it developing. So that's some good news. Not likely to develop. It's supposed to track into a northwest direction and then eventually toward the north. Now, Tropical Storm Vance is still going on in the Pacific Ocean, though. We're watching that because it has, and it still is having an effect on parts of Mexico, the coastline there as well, as they're having some gusty conditions in toward those areas, 65-mile-an-hour winds as the latest advisory. So they're watching that closely. As it does make landfall, though, it's expected to weaken down to a very minimal tropical storm. And so it shouldn't be too much of an effect, but we could watch out for some flooding rainfall in towards some of those communities. Now, satellite and radar bringing it closer to home. We do see out toward areas like Little Rock, also out towards Shreveport, and also Dallas, Fort Worth, the metro area there, Waco, toward areas like Laredo, Texas as well, kind of getting off screen just a little bit, but we get the idea that there is a cool front in toward those areas, and they're getting some rain, and that's eventually going to affect our weather here in the Big Bend region, in toward areas like Perry, in toward areas like Valdosta, also Panama City, Tallahassee as well. And we'll watch that closely as there could be some shower, maybe even isolated thunderstorm activity as we get into Thursday, along with a little bit of cooler temperatures. Water vapor imagery, we do see a little bit more moisture coming into the forecast area over the last couple frames. This indicated in the green color here. We're seeing that in the upper level of the atmosphere, and that's a sign of things to come. With a little bit warmer temperatures over the next couple of days, but then cooler temperatures as we get later into the weekend, just in time for the FSU homecoming game against Virginia. It could be a little bit cool out there. Now, current temperatures here across our Big Bend region at this hour, we're sitting at 69 here in the metro area. For some of our outlying areas, they are sitting a little cooler. For southeast and southwest Georgia, we're sitting at 66 in Albany and 64 at toward Macon, Georgia. Now, those current winds, they are a little bit on the gusty side as we get away from Tallahassee. We're seeing it at 12 miles an hour in Orlando, 12 as well in Miami, and up towards Shreveport, Louisiana, 16 miles an hour there. But here, right now, we're not even picking up any wind as the latest observation at the Tallahassee Regional Airport. Now, for tonight, though, we're going to get down to 51 degrees, a little on the cool side, but we're going to warm up very quickly tomorrow. 80 degrees, nicer conditions tomorrow in terms of being a little bit warmer, but we'll watch those temperatures start to inch down as we get later into the week. But right now, we'll go and take it back over to the desk with Melanie and John.
Our pumpkins got a little bit frosty this weekend. That's going to be a sign of things to come this winter, so says the Climate Prediction Center.
Yeah, and also they're going to be, they're also to the east, they're going to be experiencing cooler temperatures than usual.
Yeah, if you want to go somewhere warm, it's not going to be down here in the south. It's going to be out west. They're going to see warmer than normal temperatures out there this winter.
Yeah, they're going to be seeing actually drier air right now as well.
Yeah, if you're looking for the moisture air, it's going to be right here in the south across the next couple of months at least, and then maybe drying out as we head towards the early parts of next year.
Yeah, and that'll be leaving us with some cooler, nicer temperatures. It's not going to be as humid or muggy, so that's always a good thing.
Hopefully it'll feel a little like Christmas towards the end of December anyway.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want the nice Christmas feeling, so.
Yeah, if going into the next couple weeks, it's looking like there's going to be a couple of cool shots coming down from Canada. Yeah,
so that'll be always fun, but now we're going to take it to local with Casey.
Thanks so much, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at Lincoln High School with the weather stem camera there. Really nice conditions being shown by this. And that story really across the Big Bend region and southwest Georgia. Nice sunny conditions here on this election day as people are getting out to vote. Really nothing to impede them in terms of weather conditions. Nice conditions, no precipitation. Now, satellite and radar, you can see the story. There's really not too much even in the way of cloud cover except those few clouds we did see in that shot. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, we are seeing a few clouds there, but not too big of a story, not causing any problems. Just a little bit to maybe keep those temperatures down just a little bit here across the Big Bend and across areas like Bainbridge toward Taylor County as well. 69 degrees right now, mostly cloudy. 52 degrees at dew point, a little bit on the low side. Same thing with that humidity, 55%, and that's making conditions feel a little bit more comfortable as we're walking around campus. Not too much of a breeze, calm conditions, but really just nice conditions here on this Tuesday here at FSU. Now, temperatures across our region as we get away from the metro area, we do see temperatures sitting a little bit cooler. 63 degrees in Quincy already up toward Gadsden County. Getting out toward Bainbridge, 66 degrees there. As we get in toward Decatur County, Georgia, and even out toward Valdosta, sitting on the cool side as well, 64 degrees there. Now, that futurecast really does tell the story. We do have a cool front that is approaching, but over the next couple of days, we're going to see mild conditions, even warming up a little bit after the last cool front that moved through last week. Of course, we're starting to see nicer conditions from that moving through past our area, but we're going to watch and turn our attention to the next cool front as we get later into this week, as we're watching up toward areas like Little Rock, also up toward Tyler, Texas. This cool front going to move to the south and east a little bit, park itself by 6 a.m. tomorrow around Alexandria, Louisiana, also toward Greenville, Mississippi, and that's going to make its way further to the southeast. It's going to have an impact on our weather forecast. As we get later into Wednesday, we'll start to see a few isolated showers in terms of some of our western areas out toward Panama City. And later into Wednesday night, Thursday, we'll be watching that front as it gets even a little bit closer, parked toward areas like Mobile, also out toward Birmingham and Montgomery, Alabama as well. And we'll see warmer conditions out ahead of that, though. Nicer conditions later on to Thursday, though. The chances for rain do go up just a little bit, so it might be a good idea to keep your umbrella. Of course, those times have changed a little bit because of our time change, times moving up a little bit. Now tonight, 51 degrees, cool, mild, nice conditions here across the Tallahassee area. Nice night to stay inside and maybe watch those election returns come in. Tomorrow, 80 degrees, nice conditions. Again, mild conditions here across our viewing circle. And in that 7-day forecast, we do see those temperatures cooling down as we get into the weekend early next week behind that cool front, as we see a chance of rain on Thursday. Now back to Jonathan and Melanie.
Thank you, Casey. Yeah, those temperatures are looking quite nice after Thursday, that is.
Yeah, it's looking warm. We're going to be close to 85 the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, that's just on Thursday, and then that is going to be a cold front. Then that's why we have that chance for rain, but I wouldn't cancel any plans because it's a small chance for rain.
Yeah, and they won't affect your homecoming plans. Here's the 7-day. It's going to be a little cool on Friday.
Yeah, we're getting back into those 40s, and on Monday morning, it's only going to be 39. That's quite cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cool for the game on Saturday evening at 6:30. Looking at temperatures in the 50s.
Yeah, so if you get cold easily, you may want to bring a light jacket with you to the game, but the sun is still going to be out and about, so it's going to be feeling a little warm, but then once the sun sets, it's going to feel cooler.
Yeah, if you're heading to homecoming, any of those activities, send us a screenshot, send us a picture on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube as well. Send us a picture as well.
Yeah, you can watch us anytime on FSU Weather, and it's a beautiful night in Tallahassee, so get out and enjoy the weather.
Enjoy that last taste of summer, I think, at least in the meantime.
Yeah, so I'm student meteorologist Melanie Steinberg.
And I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis. Have a great night and go Knowles.